Hello, my name is Jim Garza. I'm the CEO of Gezondheid Farms. I'm a fourth generation farmer from South Texas, and I'm going to show you and introduce you to our showroom pilot of an intensive horticultural facility that grows leafy greens, lettuces, and herbs. Our corporation has been designing and engineering equipment since 2011 to grow any type of crop that you can think of. What you're about to see is a showroom of a facility that is scalable for leafy greens and herbs. Gezondheid Farms is a Dutch-American ag-tech collaboration utilizing holistic agroecology with tomorrow's technologies to grow healthy food crops today. Follow us at gezondheidfarms.com. Let's walk inside this small facility and take a tour. Entrance here going into our little 300 square foot facility. What you see here is a grow rack. There's 4 different grow racks in this small facility. It's number 2, number 3, number 4. Each grow rack represents 1 week of growth, and our crops sit in the grow rack for 28 days. We usually start them in little grow trays with plugs like you see here. These are cocoa core little plugs that we start our little seeds in, and they'll usually stay in that tray anywhere from 4 days to 14 days depending on the type of crop that it is. Once it's at a sizable size that you see here, it'll then be ready to transplant into the rack, into these holes that you see. And it's very simple. We take a plug and we place it in the hole, and in the hole we have circulating water that's in a tank underneath the rack with a certain nutrient mix and a certain amount of other necessities like dissolved oxygen that then will help aerate the water to keep pathogens from getting into the water and causing root diseases. We engineer and manufacture our own LED lights with different spectrum colors. As you might be able to see there, the different colors of the LED chips are specific to growing crops so that they have the maximum amount of growth speed. And as the water comes out of the tank down below, it is pumped up into a manifold which looks like this here. And in this manifold, the water then flows down the pipe, touches all the cocoa core plugs of each one of the plants, keeps it wet and moist. The water continues to flow back through this pattern of this PVC pipe, comes all the way to the end after it hits all these plugs, drains back into a manifold and back into the tank. And it constantly circulates as our NFT, nutrient flow technique system. These crops here are technically 4 days old and will be placed into this rack within the next 2 days. And 27 days from the day that it was placed in the rack, it will be harvested. The following week, we'll harvest the next rack, and then the following, the next rack, and the following week, the next rack. So the intent is to have a continuation of a circulation of seeding and harvesting. So as soon as we harvest this rack number 2, which you're looking at here of different mixtures of lettuce, this rack has been in here for 27 days old, so it'll be harvested here shortly within the next 2 days. Well, the crops are 25 days old, but I'll give it another week because it'll be in the tray. But when we harvest it, we'll seed it, clean it, and seed it the next day. So this is a variety of crops we have here up front. We have butter crunch lettuce. We have a Cimarron lettuce that has a little reddish tint to it. We have arugula. It tastes like peanuts and it's got a little sweetness to it. We have a Selway lettuce with a red tint to it. We have an Imperial Red Mizuna, which has a type of spice to it, but it's manageable. Of course, we have kale, which is a baby kale. And then, of course, we have what we call our Paris Island cause romaine lettuce. All these crops will be harvested at the same time, placed in a bin, mixed together, and then they'll go into a bag, which will be a spicy mix or a salad mix, which we call a spring mix salad. So this rack will be harvested here in about another week to 8 to 10 days. Following a week after harvesting this rack that you see here, which is rack number 2, we will harvest rack number 3. So rack number 3 is 18 days old, and it's just a week behind rack number 1. And as you can see, it has a good mix of assortment of crops in it as well. So this is 1 week younger than this, and will be harvested 1 week after this. Once this is harvested, then we go to rack number 4. Rack number 4 is here, which is crops that are only, we'll see here, 11 days old. So these little crops here have been seeded for 4 to 10, 14 days and then come into the pipes for the final growth of 27 days. So after those 2 racks, that far back, which is our rack number 2, will be harvested in 10 days. Rack number 3 will be harvested in 17 days. And then rack number 4 will be harvested in 24 days. And then we go back to rack number 1, which is this rack here that has the seedlings that will be placed into the tubes in about 2 more days. So the idea is to have a continuous rotation of crop. Every week you are harvesting 1 rack, and that rack should give us anywhere between 200 quarter-ounce bags of salad mix that look like this. This is our little bag here, as you can see. It's got a little plastic window, it's biodegradable, and it's breathable, and has little twisty ties here to be able to open and close. And you keep this in your refrigerator, and it'll have on there a transparency of the day that it was picked, and what rack it came from, and what is in the mixture itself. Cute little bag that's keeps our crop fresh and should have a shelf life of 3 to 4 weeks in your refrigerator if you keep it refrigerated anywhere between 40 to 50 degrees. Now this whole system is fully automated. It has a very unique air purification system that you see here with our own fans and our own negative ion generators. The negative ion generator releases negative ions in the air just as if Mother Nature does, and those radical electrons are looking for protons of molecules that are in the air that could be fungus or mold floating in the facility. As it pulls a proton from the molecule of the contamination in the air, it's no longer a contaminating pathogen. So we have very intensive negative ion attraction, of electrostatic attraction happening in the facility to keep the air quality clean. And that's exactly what Mother Nature does before a rain shower. What you see there is a speaker, as another back there in the back, as another here on the side, and we have an amplifier that you'll see up on top there that'll play specific frequencies. These specific frequencies match the resonant frequency of the plants. And what it does is, as people have said, if you play classical music or talk to plants, they do better. What actually happens is the frequencies, specific frequencies from our voice or from classical music, match the resonant frequency of the plant, causing it to vibrate on a micron level. And if you can vibrate it on a micron level, then you can speed up the travel of nutrients and water and air from the roots to the leaf, increasing the growth speed. It's like similar if you take a funnel and you put sand in it, the sand will come out. But if you're able to vibrate that funnel at that funnel's own resonant frequency, then the sand will come out 10, 20 times faster. So that's the intent of how classical music and speaking to plants works, is that the plants themselves, if you vibrate their veins inside, you'll cause the liquids to translocate and transportate super fast. And that's how they remain healthy. In our water quality, as how we defend in water quality, you can see the water travels in these holes. What we do is we keep track of what we call our oxidation reduction potential, which is our water voltage system. So our water, this is our reserve water tank with 0 ppm. This is our reverse osmosis system that'll take all the contaminants out of the water. Once this water goes into this tank, it's charged with a micron micron size electrostatic charge, which is what we call a millivolt charge. That millivolt charge complements the millivolt charge of the water. And so what happens in that case is then you'll see millivolt charges as specifics of each one of our tanks, which the first tank is 444, second tank is 118, third tank is 275, and the fourth tank is 359. What that represents is a number of radical electrons in the water that are looking for protons in any pathogen that's in our water, like E. coli, listeria, any kind of disease that can cause harm to us as humans. And so what happens, there's a battle going on in the water through our electric water, which complements the roots of the plant and help it grow faster, but it keeps the water clean. So this here is what we call our monitoring system of the entire facility, which is scalable to a large greenhouse of any size. And our computer server that you'll see here is built by us, and it manages the entire facility. We also have security camera system that's installed that allows us to see everything inside and outside the facility, and we can make changes to anything in the facility from a command station located anywhere in the world. So regardless of where the facility is, we're able to track all the conditions of the facility, all the equipment, turn anything on and off, and make any changes to the growth of the crops at any point in time, 24/7. What's unique about our farm is we track the frequencies that are released in the room, and we're able to play through our computer, through our amplifier here and our speakers, a specific frequency that matches the resonant frequency of the plant. So during the day when laborers are inside the farm harvesting, cleaning, pruning, seeding, they'll be listening to classical music, which will complement the metabolism of the plant and increasing the health of the plant. But at night, when no one's in here, a specific arrangement of frequencies that is only known to us, that we have written ourselves and produced, will play at night, and we'll be charting the high points of the frequencies, as you see these blue high points, and making sure those are the frequencies that we know increase the growth of the plant. So what we have in this first monitor here that you see is all the water statistics of each one of the tanks. You'll start out with the total dissolved solids in the tanks, how much mineral content there is, what is the water temperature in the tank, what is the pH level in the tank, what is the millivolt charge in the tank of the water, so that our electric water then can do battle with any pathogens, and then float levels in the tanks, where it's a bottom float up and the top float down. As you can see, our first tank isn't seated yet, so it has no water in it, and both the floats are down. The second monitor below the first one is all the air quality measures. It touches base on what the air temperature is in the front, what the air temperature is in the back, what the humidity level is in the front and the back, and what the carbon dioxide level is in the front and in the back. You'll see switches for all the equipment. Everything's turned on and off by the computer in itself. So it's all regulated, timed, and written in the software. And in our fourth monitor here, what you see is a chart that we can chart any specific equipment, sensor, or condition in the room over a 24-hour, 7-day, 3-day, 1-month period, and compare what the temperature, humidity levels, anything you want to see. So all the data we'll be able to see in spikes as to when the temperature changes at specific times, like 6 in the morning, you'll see a little increase in the humidity, a little decrease in the temperature, because the air conditioning will come on, and the line there you see is where the lights had turned on to rack number 1, which is at 6 a.m. Then of course behind the spectrum chart you'll see a data log. That is a log of everything charted in the system that is in the air or controlled by the computer. So the computer is constantly collecting data in the Grover system on a minute per minute basis. As you can see there, it's telling us exactly what it's doing and when all the time. So if we ever have an issue, we can go back and look at the log and see what took place, what didn't take place. We can then chart those specific tasks on this chart and see, okay, where's the contrast and where did something turn on and turn off, and how come the air temperature rose at this point or the humidity did at that point. And then of course we can read the water quality constantly. So what this system does is it helps to fight down what we call human error in growing conditions. The point of the computer system, the server, is to manage as much of the crop growing process as possible, utilizing computers, sensors, today's technology, so that we can eliminate as much human error, which eliminates as much risk as possible. Of course, that again is our security system, our amplifier. We have a bug zapper for our pest control, fan where we go in and out of the doors. And then we have a curriculum where we have our 6th grade class from our school come in, and this is just a little bit of a 4 or 5 week program that they go through to learn about intensive horticulture growing in an indoor facility like this. It's quite interesting, quite unique. It's very advanced. There's a lot of things we're doing in here that are tomorrow's technologies. One of the things we are doing is reading the frequencies of the plant, which is an identification of the stress level of the plant. It's what we call plant language. And at some point in time here in the near future, we'll have our algorithm written that will analyze the frequency arrangement released by the plant. That'll tell the computer specifically what stress it's under. And when it does that, then the computer is able to correct the environment around the plant to get the frequency arrangement released by the plant at a perfect condition to where the computer knows that that frequency arrangement means the plant is at its most healthiest point. So this is Jim Garza. Again, I'm the innovator, founder of Gezondheid Farms in collaboration with the Netherlands government here on Saba Island to develop their agricultural sustainable program. We're also developing a holistic program that utilizes local resources, and we're developing a sovereign program that allows the youth locals to be able to, native Sabans, to take over when we retire to manage and run this facility. I hope you enjoyed our tour, and I invite you to come visit us to have a salad. I think you'll be amazed by the flavors. And of course, as we grow this facility, we'll be getting into cucumbers and cantaloupes and watermelons, grapes, kiwis, blueberries, blackberries, climbing strawberries, all your vine crops from okra, zucchini, squash, peppers, you name it, we can grow it. There's nothing out there that we can't grow. Thank you very much for your time, and look forward to any questions you may have. You're welcome to email me at jim@gezondheidfarms.com, and follow us on Facebook. Thank you.